Whoa! It's been a while since I've made one of these videos, and I don't know how I feel about it. I don't. Whew. So, hello everybody, my name is Dusty, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're talking about whatever. Again. A lot of you probably actually came to the channel because of my original content talking about this whole Taylor Nicole Dean drama stuff, and guess what? She made another video. Now, a lot has happened since the last time we made a video about this, and I kind of don't know how to feel about it myself. Taylor Nicole Dean left social media for a while, and while she was gone, I guessed whatever was kind of trying to figure out what exactly they're going to blame on Taylor Nicole Dean this time. And if you watch some of my other videos, a lot of people were calling me unbiased. To be completely honest, I know I am heavily biased in this. A lot of the people I know Taylor Nicole Dean. I have talked to Taylor Nicole Dean. I have talked to her friends. I have had some kind of social interactions with them, whether it's over social media or through their videos or through my own video. I have had some kind of correspondence with these people, and it has grown on me over the past couple of months that Taylor Nicole Dean isn't necessarily a terrible human being. She makes mistakes, we all make mistakes, but we're trying to move on from them. And I personally think Taylor Nicole Dean is a decent human being. I think that they are a little bit over their heads sometimes, but I think that they do what they can with what they have. And with that being said, whatever does not believe that whatsoever. I had watched maybe the first 30 seconds of her newest video, and I stopped it, sat up, and I'm currently at my computer recording a reaction to the rest, because this is just too gold not to record a new video on it. So, here we are. Let's just jump into it.
Kinda sucks, but lemonade is...
A lot has happened, guys, on this channel since the last time we were here. For one, she has been monetized, as you can see. Two, she has 7.2 thousand subscribers and almost 500 comments on this video. But this video is called Taylor Nicole Dean Lied About Her Pet's Deaths According to Former Friends of hers. And this has 8,000 views and was posted 2 days ago from recording this video. And something I want to comment on right away, because they were accusing me in my last video of making fun of the way she talks. I don't care. It's none of my business of why she talks the way she does. I don't make fun of people for that, and it was very upsetting to see that she was accusing me of that. I feel at that point she was just trying to find something to accuse me about, so that was the only thing she can come up with. So I'm not making fun of her voice. I don't make fun of the way she talks. I could care less. I focus on the content, not the quality of that content. So we're going to be looking at that. But let's just jump in.
I wasn't planning on getting back into the pet drama for a while, but some stuff has
Sure
come out
you
about
weren't.
Taylor. And...
Sure you weren't. I don't know. Maybe it's just... It seems like a very opportune time. Taylor comes back, and now she's making another drama video. In my opinion, just knowing what this channel is about, they were probably waiting till Taylor came back to release this video. So that way the hype was there. I know that hype because a lot of my former videos now are getting more views again about Taylor Nicole Dean. Those ones are getting more views again, and I feel like she waited to the most opportune time to release this video in order to get more of those views. And this might sound like I'm hypercritical, but at this point, this channel is mostly about Taylor Nicole Dean, and only about Taylor Nicole Dean, and accusing her of things. And at this point, I feel like the pet tuber community should just kind of, move on from the past, because there's not too much we can do about that. I could list, and I'm going to list a bunch of the creators I watch in the description down below. If you hate Taylor Nicole Dean's guts, I'm sorry, but you can watch those channels. I like Taylor Nicole Dean. I'm going to continue to watch Taylor Nicole Dean. I think she's done a pretty good job justifying herself and apologizing for things. And I'm not going to harp on her and harp on her mental health when it isn't a problem of mine, because all of her animals seem to be cared for as best as they can. And I know this video seems ranty, but at this point, this person is really starting to get under my skin.
Become the designated Taylor drama channel.
Yeah, you have.
I figured I'd talk about it.
Why?
I wanted to make a video about Onision before this, but the sleuthing is taking longer than expected, so I decided to upload this one first.
I'm glad she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, my videos are monetized now. If Taylor can get paid for her apology and ripped cheese videos, and her friends are allowed to upload videos with 4 ads in them to benefit off the drama of their friends.
I don't think it's benefiting off the drama of their friends. I'm pretty sure this is their job. They rely on ad revenue to live. and feed their animals. And I doubt they're using this as a ploy to make more money. But I'm glad you are.
Friend, then I can also get some money. Around
Again,
Christmas,
this
two
kind of
farmers
goes with that opportune time of Taylor coming back, and then she releases the video to get all of those views.
friends of Taylor have posted their stories and what they know about her on an anonymous forum. I won't reveal their names because I really don't want
Wait,
people.
if it's an anonymous forum, we don't know who's saying it. In what world would we believe any of this is true? Right? If the Washington Post says an anonymous source told us blank, the Washington Post still tells us some form of details about who these individuals possibly could be. I worked with newspapers for a long time, and at one point we did have an anonymous source, and we did everything we could to prove that this was an actual person by giving certain details to allow the reader to know that this was an actual person. I'm hoping in this video she does something like that, because otherwise we aren't going to know who this person is, who these people are, and if we should actually be listening to them. So I'm definitely going to be keying in on certain things like that. I think I'm going to be a little bit more hypercritical of this video, because at this point I feel like she's digging for something that isn't actually there.
To go and harass them. I don't want this to happen to anyone, by the way. At this point, I have changed my view of Taylor from misguided and in over her head to negligent and irresponsible, but that still doesn't mean that I want her to get attacked or to get called names. I'm making videos to spread awareness so that people, especially younger kids, know not to follow her example, not so that people just hate on her. I've seen too many comments that said how they got an animal because Taylor got it, or that her relationship with her boyfriend is so cute.
Again, her relationship is none of your business. Absolutely none of your business. Take what you think is your business and leave with that, because that's none of your business. And people getting animals because of Taylor shouldn't be a big deal. There have been a lot of people who have come to me and said, hey, I've got an African clawed frog because you have African clawed frogs. And to me, that is absolutely amazing, because they can go back and watch my care videos or watch my videos about my African clawed frogs and learn something. Of course, I want them to take a whole bunch of different sources and kind of combine them together into the ultimate care guide for themselves. But I don't think it's a bad thing that she's allowing people to learn about these other animals and bring them into their homes. That's how we get certain types of animals to become norms. You know, if somebody didn't, I'm assuming with a lot of the tarantula channels, right, we're trying to normalize keeping tarantulas. And I think through doing that, other people are going to want to get them and bring them into their homes. And that's how we spread awareness about them. If Taylor doesn't inspire these people, I would be questioning what her actual purpose on the platform is. So her inspiring people is absolutely fantastic.
I don't want anyone to see her as a role model.
She is.
Anyway, let's talk about what these former friends have revealed. I will focus this video on the animals, but they've also revealed more personal things. One of the most important pieces of information that was shared is the fact that Taylor allegedly lied about her skinks and Pac-Man frog. According to the friends, the skinks died of dehydration and the frog of malnutrition. The croc skinks supposedly died during a heat wave.
Her croc skinks... Oh, hold on. Let me back this up a sec. Her croc skinks did not pass away unexpectedly one night, though I don't recall when. Taylor believed it was due to a hydration issue, as Texas had been going through a heat wave, and the room had been very hot and dried the enclosures quicker than normal. She was extremely upset when she told us this. Again, she does actually care about these animals. Her Pac-Man frog died a couple weeks after, I believe. Again, I'm trying to go by old memory. That I didn't think I'd ever use. The frog was oddly deformed and splayed legs and a flattened snout. So I had reason to believe it was either poor breeding or supplementation, or a mixture of both that led up to the early death. So, hold up, take a step back. One, we don't know who this former friend is, right? We have no reason to expect that she has any connection to Taylor Nicole Dean. Two, these are very vague memories that this person has, right? And I want to point out this. She was extremely upset when she told us this. Again, she does actually care about these animals. Misguided, uninformed, or is she just doing this for the money? Neither, because she was extremely upset. And these things happen. My axolotls have been going through a rough time due to just the different types of temperature going through the room. You know, some of these animals are extremely sensitive, so you can't just say, oh, you know what, a heat wave went through, she wasn't exactly prepared, it's all your fault. No, a heat wave went through, it's nature. Was she a little bit unprepared? Sure, but again, these are very vague statements. And to say that her Pac-Man frog died from malnutrition, let me say this. Well, the person says it could have been poor breeding. You're nitpicking. That's what you're doing. You're nitpicking. You're nitpicking details that kind of fit with your narrative, and you're leaving it at that. And even if this was one of her friends, they still said she cares about these animals, and that it could have been poor breeding. I I don't understand.
The croc skinks supposedly died during a heat wave, which made their enclosure dry out faster than expected. We have seen evidence of dry water dishes many times, so it unfortunately wouldn't be a surprise if this actually happened.
Okay, here's the thing. If I showed you all of my animals right now, there might be one or two empty bowls. And I'll tell you why. Because I work, I have school, I make videos, I have a life, right? If I come home and I happen to see an empty water dish, I will fill it up. But I'll tell you what, once a week I go through and check to make sure all the animals have water. If one of them dries out quicker than expected, when I go and examine their tanks maybe every other day, I'll realize that and I'll fill them up. Some people, they get busy, and with a lot of these tanks, like my bearded dragon enclosure, can get 100 degrees, right? Water evaporates. If I don't notice the water evaporated out, it's not going to kill them if they go a couple hours without water. This person is assuming that Taylor should be sitting in front of her enclosures at all times, going through and watering them every single time. Now, I will say, if it's her full-time job, she should be checking on them more than once a day. But with that being said, I think it's hard to expect her to have to go through and check them every couple of hours. That's insane. If there was an issue, like with her electrical, she should have checked them more than once or twice during that day. She should have checked them multiple times. But if there's nothing wrong with the enclosures, why are you expecting her to check it 5, 6, 7 times a day? That doesn't make sense. This person has already admitted they don't keep animals, so they have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to proper care and husbandry, right? As somebody who keeps animals, I can tell you it's a lot more than just checking their water. If you're focusing on one enclosure, cleaning it, making sure they're okay, you might have a different routine, right, throughout the week. So one animal isn't going to get 5 or 6 hours of your care. That's not how it works. And this person who has never had any experience with these animals don't understand that.
Taylor should have kept more careful watch over her enclosures, especially as many of the pets in her animal room and the closet in it are very heat sensitive. Croc skinks, crested geckos, and her Pac-Man frog don't handle heat well. She has mentioned her animal room getting very hot before, so I really have no idea why she even kept them all in there in the first place, instead of just...
Here, 2 words for you. Animal room. In an animal room, you keep, hold on, let me tell you, animals. And you know why she keeps all of her animals in one room? I don't know. Maybe because it's easier to maintain the heat and humidity. Maybe it's because she doesn't want them spread all throughout her house. Maybe it's for organizational reasons. Here's a couple of things. One, most of Taylor Nicole Dean's animals are of the same... they should belong in almost the same ecosystem, right? A lot of them are tropical. If I look around my room, I have a desert animal, I have tropical animals, I have aquatic animals, I have animals from all over the world, right? In order to fit one animal's needs, it's impossible, right? 100% of their needs. When it comes to tarantulas, people say you should be keeping them at a certain humidity. No, you don't have to worry about that. Or a certain temperature. No, room temperature is just fine. In a lot of these care guides that this person very obviously is just reading without actual experience, she's reading these care guides and thinking this is exactly how it's going to be. In reality, it's not like that. It's impossible to keep every single enclosure at the exact precise humidity that they'll need. These animals will do perfectly fine with differentials in those temperatures and in those humidity readings and in those substrates. There are a whole lot of opinions out there about how you should care for specific animals, but when it comes down to it, each time you take one in or each time you actually get experience with it, you learn what works best with that animal. And this person, whatever, who does not have any experience with the animals, won't know this, won't understand this. So I think she's coming from an area of misinformation and misguidance rather than hate, and I think she needs to kind of buckle down and learn about these animals and get experience with these animals before she can judge Taylor about her care.
just moving them to an air-conditioned part of the apartment.
It's not that easy.
I was actually confused when I read that, because even though her croc skink enclosures looked inadequate, she actually did used to have a little swimming area with a filter and everything for them.
Her enclosures did not look inadequate.
Turns out that she took that away from them when she moved and only has a very shallow dish of water for a croc-skin enclosure now. She also got rid of the layered substrate, as her display cages are too shallow to have any kind of deep substrate. It's just a huge downgrade in general. Her display enclosures look kinda cool, but they're not suitable for a lot of the animals that live in there. Talk about gilded cages.
What?
Onto the
That's
Pac-Man
insane.
frog's death. I've read a lot of care guides, forums, and articles about frogs since it's been said that he died of malnutrition.
Hold up.
Died of malnutrition.
Hold up. I've read a lot of care guides, forums, and articles about frogs since it's been confirmed that he died of malnutrition. Huh. So you don't have any actual experience with Pac-Man frogs? Huh. Interesting. I have a Pac-Man frog, so I guess I can speak of experience that Pac-Man frogs are more difficult to care for than one would think. My Pac-Man frog buries himself all day, every day. The only time he eats is when I pull him out to feed him. Malnutrition, I have had a Pac-Man frog die of malnutrition, not because of anything I did wrong, because I provided him exactly with the enclosure that was specified by every single form and article and care guide I could find, and it didn't work. And I think that's the moral of the story here, is you can read as many care guides, forums, and articles as you want, but you're never going to find an answer that works best with you and your animal and your environment. All animals are individuals. All animals have their likes and dislikes. You can have a bearded dragon, like my bearded dragon loves their water dish. They will sit in their water dish all day. That is very uncharacteristic of bearded dragons, but here we are with my bearded dragon. I think this person is lumping all these animals into groups, and they don't understand that's not the case for these animals. They've never had these animals. They don't understand these animals. They've never had experience with these animals. So I think it's hard to kind of accept that these are the answers that they're giving out if they have no experience.
Since it's been said that he died of malnutrition. In pretty much all of them, it explicitly states not to regularly feed your frogs mice, as they are high in fat and may cause a multitude of diseases. I know that Taylor claimed that she did only feed him mice as a treat, but then why did she only ever talk about or show herself feeding him mice? As I said before,
Because it's a treat. I give my hamster Baxter treats. I show those. Why? Because they're instantly there. They love eating the treats. You get the best reaction out of them eating treats. If she only shows the Pac-Man frog once in a while and it's eating a rodent, it's a treat. It's not an everyday diet. I think her saying that because she shows them in every video, them eating a mouse, it must be that she only feeds them mice. That's not the case at all. In my past memory of watching Nicole and D videos, I can't remember a past video of her actually showing her Pac-Man frog recently. Like, before it died, I think it had been almost a year since I actually saw a video of her talking about her Pac-Man frog. So that doesn't mean that he's getting mice all the time. He's getting them as a treat when she films a video. It's probably because he likes mice. So he comes out, and he's more vibrant and alert and at attention than he would be if she just threw crickets or dubia roaches in there.
many children watch her and get the pets she has. This is dangerous, as she is setting an example for them, making them believe they can feed their frogs an incomplete diet.
That's not an incomplete diet.
The only time I could find where she mentions feeding him something other than mice is right when she got him and he was too small for them. It would make sense that she just fed them to him for convenience sake. Perhaps she heated a frozen one up for him whenever she fed her snakes too. I think I have seen crickets
Speculation.
in his enclosure during a feeding video, but I have never seen her mention gut-loading her feeders, and only seen her clumsily dust them once.
Again, here we go. You know, I filmed a video about all my animals with Kevin a couple weeks ago, and people were commenting on my axolotl care because I had just briefly mentioned over what I feed my axolotls, and I talked about feeding them turtle pellets and fish, right? But that's not all I feed them. I feed them bloodworms, I feed them mealworms, I feed them with their heads crushed, and I tried waxworms to fatten them up a little bit. I've tried blackworms. I have tried red wigglers. I don't mention those things because there's not enough time in a video. Most people watch my videos for a total of 6 minutes, right? So I have to try to compile a video with as much information as I can in those 6 minutes. If I went into every single thing that was required of every single one of my animals, we'd be going on a days long video, right? So this person saying she's never mentioned gut loading crickets, she never mentioned this. Taylor says repeatedly she's not an expert and that you should also look at other sources, right? This person person is completely glossing over the fact that you should be looking at other resources too, and I'm sure Taylor agrees with me on this. You have to be looking at multiple resources, picking and choosing things that you read, and kind of putting it together into like a care guide that works for you. So this person assuming that Taylor should be talking about every single thing is very ignorant, I'll say right off the bat, because she's expecting every person to take what Taylor Nicole Dean says and just use that and nothing else. It all takes experience, it takes reading, it takes talking to actual experts, it takes talking to breeders and watching these videos to kind of understand what you're getting yourself into. But most importantly, it takes actually owning the animal to figure out what exactly it is. Because again, they're all individuals. You know, my axolotls hate red wigglers, but people say I should be feeding them that. I can't. They hate them. They'll spit them out. I can only get them to eat minnows and turtle pellets. That's all I can get them to eat. So each animal is an individual, and I think whatever is completely ignoring that.
So even if she did feed them things other than mice, they wouldn't have held a lot of nutrition. Taylor's Pac-Man frog looked very weird and sick if you compare pictures of him to healthy frogs. He had a strange face shape,
Individuals.
and his legs were splayed out. It makes a lot more sense if they died because of these things than her power outage story. I actually experienced a short circuit recently, and that affected the electricity from my bathroom, where it happened, all the way to my bedroom. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to say that only 2 cages had their powers off, when they would have shared the circuit with.
No, it's not that 2 cages went off. It's that 2 cages circuited, right? If I have, since that video, by the way, let me say, I went out and bought surge protectors for all of my outlets. Why? Because if a power outage happens, none of my tanks, none of my filters, none of my heaters, none of anything will fry, right? It's very possible that happens. I used to live on a farm, right? And the farmhouse would lose its power periodically. Things would fry. The moment the power would go out, our kitchen radio would go off and fry completely. Couldn't use it. We've had TVs fry. We've had lamps fry. It happens. It doesn't mean that everything has to, because everything in that kitchen worked properly, but that radio, right? Again, she's speculating. She's not coming up with anything that's actual proof. She's saying, this happened to me, so therefore, this must happen to her. No, different circumstances.
With all the other ones as well. It also says a lot about her if she confidently posted this story, as she basically exposed that her normal routine is only checking on her animals once in the morning and then again in the evening.
Or that day she was really busy and only got 2 chances to check on them.
Some of you might say that that's fine, as Taylor has an assistant. It's great for her that she has one, but that assistant has a baby and therefore not a lot of time for Taylor's zoo.
Did you just say that because the assistant has a baby, she doesn't have time for Taylor's zoo? How do you know? Have you gone there? Have you talked to Taylor's assistant? Have you actually seen the assistant do their job? No, you haven't. You just say she has a baby, therefore she must have no time to care for these animals. Sure, because I don't know a single mother that doesn't have a full-time job, or can't have a full-time job for that matter, because they have a child. That was sexist.
She once went on a trip and left said assistant in charge of all her animals while she was very far along in her pregnancy.
Okay?
For everyone that doesn't know, pregnant women should avoid changing cat's litter, as cats may carry a parasite that could damage the baby.
And you know what else pregnant women shouldn't do? They shouldn't eat anything from the microwave. They shouldn't eat deli meat. They shouldn't have any fruits or vegetables washed in the deli area. They should also avoid their microwave. They should avoid their cell phone. They should not stress themselves. They shouldn't do anything, right? They should basically live in a bubble, right? I have a bunch of friends right now that are going through pregnancy, and literally the things they can't do is astounding. If they couldn't do anything, ever, they would literally live in a bubble. You saying they can't change their cat's litter? This person, again, is nitpicking. This person is completely nitpicking. She's like, she's pregnant, so therefore she shouldn't change cat litter. You know what else she probably shouldn't do? Everything. She shouldn't breathe. She shouldn't sleep. Because at that point, something could happen. Speculation.
So it wasn't the best idea to leave 50 animals in.
I really should have been a judge instead of doing this for a living, because if I was a judge, at least I would be able to say guilty or speculation. Speculation, I think, would be more fun.
Hands of a pregnant woman, especially as it could have harmed her and her baby, in addition to just being very stressful. Taylor also said that she mostly helps her out with day-to-day life and not her pets. I guess it's better to have an assistant that is a busy mom than her boyfriend's drug dealer, though. Something else that's been said about
Speculation.
Taylor is that her moon crab, Ursula, has died from mismolting. Moon crabs have virtually no differences in appearance, so she can simply post a picture of a crab and see that it's the same crab. She never mentioned this on social media.
What?
She most likely got a replacement female when she got her male moon crab. Some of her friends have, if this is true, covered for her and lied about losing footage of that crab. It makes me wonder what else they know and how they justify standing behind.
Wait, again, this is like that Craigslist conspiracy theory that this person had. So you're saying she lost her moon crab, she went out and bought a male, and then bought another female, and then put them in the enclosure, and then had all of her friends lie about it. I feel like you're giving Taylor too much credit, right? I love Taylor, I like her friends, but I think you're giving them too much credit at this point. You must think she's some kind of evil genius. Taylor must be running Area 51 for all we know, because these conspiracy theories are literally off the charts, right? Next thing you know, she's going to be saying that I am on the payroll of Taylor, and that I am doing this to cover her, because apparently, she is the coordinator of every conspiracy theory on the planet. This is just, you're giving her too much credit. This person is all speculation. We've only seen one supposed friend comment about her care and nothing else. So when you say according to her former friends, so far we're according to her potentially, maybe, former friend that is unverified, right? That's what we're looking at right now.
And defending someone that neglects their pets. There's a really strange and cliquey dynamic going on with them. My personal hypothesis is that she hasn't uploaded her animals' enclosures, a stream, or basically any kind of proof that her animals are alive and well because she's trying to get all her enclosures in order. But she...
Or she's in Disneyland, like she said she was. Or she's dealing with the fact that your one video put her in a downward spiral because of all your evidence that just happens to be wild conspiracies. You know, in my first couple of videos, I really didn't have too much empathy for Taylor because I thought, she is the golden child of the pet tube community, and she should probably have some kind of, heart to heart, right? That was my main goal, was a heart to heart. Now, these videos are just really starting to irritate me because not only are they digging into Taylor's personal life and pulling out things that might not exist and causing her a lot of drama, a lot of stress for nothing. This person can't even come up with a basic argument that actually has proofs and facts. It's all a lie. It's all a conspiracy. It's all just speculation. That's all it is. This would never, if you ever brought it to a court of law, this would be thrown out the moment you presented it to the judge. You know why? There's no facts or evidence. There hasn't been one slice of facts or evidence in this entire video. It's all been speculation.
She might just be busy with her boyfriend. I won't get that much into her personal life, but these clips have been posted.
Oh yeah, because saying that her boyfriend's a drug dealer isn't getting too deep into her personal life.
If it's still bad, I'll go, but I don't think it will be. My body's just fucked, baby. Have you heard my mouth these last few days? Thank you. Alright. Ellie.
I know everyone made fun of me for...
Doesn't she just sound like she's in a bad place in that video, talking about how her body's messed up? She just sounds terrible. No offense. Sounds terrible in those videos, right? And you're just gonna dive deeper into that and talking about her sunglasses. I can't wait for this.
For the sunglasses video, and I kind of deserve that, but nobody in the world can tell me that she sounds normal in those clips.
Taylor has a prior coke issue, and she went to Sacramento. Taylor bought coke with her. Taylor turned that blame on Blank as an out. Blank is the easiest one to target and exile from the group because she has no large platform to speak on. Taylor also confirmed multiple other drug habits with me at one point because I am also a former addict, over 6 years clean. So she felt she could tell me this info, which at the time it was safe. She was supposedly tried various pills along with heroin. I'm willing to bet she most likely lied about trying heroin, but it's what she told me, probably trying to relate to me, being as heroin was my drug of choice, and I was addicted for 6 to 7 years. Couple of things here. Let's talk about the fact that this, once again, has nothing to do with her care of her animals. Not a thing. Secondly, let's point out, again, we have no source. We don't know who said this. We can't believe that this is true without a source. We can't. And secondly, I think this is important to mention because whatever says it's a former friend does not mean it's a former friend. That's the, without evidence to prove that any one of her friends said this, I'm just throwing all of these little blanks of text out because we can't prove that it's actually true. Is the issue here? We can't. It's just her saying, here's something somebody said, and we're like, who? And she's like, can't tell ya. And we're like, why not? She goes, I don't want them to get bullied. But at the same time, if they presented this information with their names attached to it, myself, and I know a bunch of other people who make videos on this, would have been like, oh wait, you know what? Taylor's a terrible human being. Let's protest. But we can't do that. Instead, we have to turn our attention to whatever and say, if you can't produce the facts, you can't tell us who creates these texts, who is behind these text messages, we can't believe you. Nothing you say up to this point matters.
Coincidence that she disappeared without a word right after promising so many videos and announcing 2 of them.
Because she was going through a hard time.
Soon, right when her boyfriend is scheduled to go on tour. I don't know, it just seems weird to me and worth mentioning, as this is a recurring thing. Something else that has been revealed is that Cheese was most likely stunted due to bad nutrition.
I honestly didn't expect Cheese to pass so soon. I was sad to hear the news. I was not a part of the group when he died, so I cannot tell you anything more than what you know. I do, however, have a fair bit of knowledge surrounding pufferfish and boxfish, and believe his diet was to blame for his small size, not the size of his tank. So, again, you're misidentifying the fact that each animal is their individual. Some fish like blank, some fish like this. You can't put a specific box on everything. I have goldfish. You have to have 3 different types of diet because some of them like one thing, not all of them like the same thing. So, I just don't know how many times I have to say this because it's becoming extremely repetitive at this point.
Extremely small for a cowfish of his age, and just like with her frog, she only ever showed or talked about...
Again, they're individuals. Maybe it's just a small cowfish. Maybe. Have you ever thought about that? I have like 50 different types of sizes of goldfish, right? Roughly the same age. But genetics play a part in this, and I don't think they understand that genetics play a part in this.
Feeding him one thing, which is seaweed. I talked to someone on Twitter that also keeps cowfish, and she had an extremely varied diet for hers. And hers grew as much in a few months.
Again, she's not going to show you every little thing that goes on with all of her animals. It would take up so much time. She's going to show you them getting treats. She's going to show you them happy. She's going to show you them eating. Because maybe when she feeds them the other foods, he takes his time. Maybe the seaweed is a gut reaction. He goes straight for it. So that's what she's doing for the camera. There are tons of explanations for why you always see her feeding seaweed and never talking about her varied diet. And most of those reasons are probably because she doesn't have enough time to talk about every little thing she does. If you wanted her to, I'm sure she would have done a care guide for Cheese and you would have all the information you want. But unfortunately that time has passed and we can't do that.
Months, as Cheese did in multiple years. They are actually predominantly predatory fish in the wild.
Again,
they feed on a variety of
genetics,
and only eat algae occasionally. Cowfish are also slow eaters, and as she had a busy tank, including a tank that should be in a tank that's twice the size of what her tank is currently, he might not have gotten to eat a lot unless she hand-fed him every single day. I have personally talked to one of the former friends, and they have told me that her...
So, what I was told was that while Taylor was away, no idea where she was going away, her assistant was there. Gucci was found in Gus Hermaus's cage with no Gus to be found. I was also told that prior to Gucci had been missing for approximately 2 months, and Prada was purchased during the time frame. When Gucci was discovered after eating Gus, Taylor announced both Gus' death from the old age and purchasing an identical female Cylon milk snake, Cinnalone milk snake, for Johnny because he loved Gucci so much. If you haven't noticed, Taylor isn't the type to buy 2 exact copies of an animal, and she purchased Gucci when she was first getting into snakes before devolving into the rarest, most expensive morphs. So this person is claiming that her snake got out and ate her mouse, and then she went out and bought another snake. Again, we don't know who this is.
Milk snake, Gucci, actually escaped and...
Again, I'm throwing all this out because we don't know who it is. It's all hearsay.
Prada. But he ended up being found in her mouse's cage with a full belly. I feel sad for Gus. Taylor never socialized with him and left him in a boring cage just to get eaten alive. I know that things are different in other countries, but I'm from Germany and most serious mice owners here think that keeping males alone is inhumane.
Well, you know what else the Germans think? A beta should be in a 10-gallon tank, and that's not going to happen, now is it? So, excuse me when I say that maybe two different cultures can have two separate ideas of what animal care should be. I just want to throw that out there because it gets pointed out to me literally all the time. And here we have somebody who is from Germany saying that in my country it should be this, and therefore it should be this there. No, that's not how it works. Two different sets of animal care. Neither one of them is wrong. We both have our own opinions, and that's that.
Taylor couldn't even remember how old he was. And that's...
By the way, mice have extremely short lives. So, when we're talking about this, I think it's important to remember that mice are inbred. When I worked at Petco, we would get shipments of mice in, and literally one would die every shipment just from the genetics that they had. They couldn't breathe, they got tumors, it was ridiculous. There's a good chance that this mouse either died of old age or a tumor before a snake got out of its enclosure and crawled into his enclosure and then managed to eat him and then magically decided to stay there forever. I don't believe it.
Basically everything concerning the animals that they have leaked. I'll put an image album of the screenshots of what else has been said in the description.
No, I'm not going to look at it because,
And
again,
once
there's
again,
going to be no
please don't
proof.
send hate to anyone. If you don't believe these former friends,
I don't.
alright, write it in the comments of this video, but don't seek them out just to shit talk them. It will benefit nobody. If you think about it rationally, you'd realize that if they made these claims for attention, they would have talked about this somewhere like YouTube and not a random gossip forum.
No.
As
They would
always,
have
if you
taken the
forum-
gossip forum route because they're not real.
Thank you for watching.
You're not welcome. I'm really upset that I watched that stupid commercial in the beginning. Here. All right. Let's recap. To recap, we have whatever listing a whole bunch of nameless messages saying that these are her former friends. Right? Throw those out. They're nameless. We don't know they're even true. Speculation. Hearsay. Throw them out. They wouldn't last in the court of law. They're not lasting on this channel. Throw them out. Secondly, we have her creating all sorts of controversy and claiming that Taylor is some sort of conspiracy genius able to concoct these extraordinary lies with her friends in order to conceal that this may or may not have happened. Throw it out. She's not as smart as people are giving her credit for, and while I love Taylor and I think she's a bright, brilliant young girl, I don't think she has the wherewithal to create those conspiracies and lies. Lastly, and finally, I think it's good to mention that literally the entire existence of whatever's channel is to try to bring Taylor Nicole Dean down, no matter what the cost. You know why? Because she's making money for every single one of her videos that she's posting, which is why this video will not be monetized. I'm trying to prove a point, that people who are here defending Taylor are not here for the money all the time. We're here in order to spread positivity within the pet thieving community in order to advance us along without us trying to kill each other all the time. Taylor's care, in my opinion, is average. It's good. You know what? Each animal is its own individual. Each animal deserves different attention. So I think Taylor is doing a good job with what she's presented. I think whatever has never kept an animal before, or if she has very limited experience with different types of animals, so I kind of don't take what she says to heart at all. Every bit of advice or opinion she has gotten from a forum or a care guide, and that's not how you get experience these days. Of course, it helps to read those to kind of have a general idea of what's happening. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the experience keeping them, you don't have the experience talking directly to breeders, and you don't have the experience breeding them yourselves, I don't see how you can offer advice on animal care. So, with that being said, leave a comment down below on what you think about this video. I personally have said I'm done talking about these videos, but whatever, has just been grinding my gears, and there's been a lot of people on my channel telling me to check out the new video, and I'm really glad I did, because I can sleep better at night knowing that whatever is full of it. She has nothing, absolutely not an ounce of evidence to say that Taylor Nicole Dean's a terrible pet owner, and I don't have anything that I can refute because there is nothing there. At the end of the day, it's all hearsay, and if it can't last in a court of law, we're not keeping it on this channel. So, with that being said, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.